See, it's not quite recording it. There we go. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and good evening, good afternoon, and if there's anyone from Australia, good morning, joining us. Welcome to Ramadan Connect, the ISLA Ramadan Connect Live. We are really excited for our event today with Dr. Fawzia, who is an award-winning author, mashallah, and cluster librarian, which I'm really interested to know what that is. So I won't go into any long any introduction, just so we can make the most of our time. And Sister Fawzia asked me to keep it short, but you can learn a lot about her on her webpage, which I'll provide the link for in the chat shortly. So before we begin, again, I just want to welcome everyone here in Saudi Arabia, where I am. It's already the 27th of Ramadan, and inshallah, one of these nights we'll be able to catch Laylatul Qadr, whether it's tonight or it's past or it's coming. We don't know for sure, but inshallah, we'll all reap the blessings of this blessed night. I'll just mention that I'm also in addition to being a administrator at a school here in Jeddah, I also serve as the Community Development Associate at the ISLA, the Islamic Schools League of America, and I'm joined here with our Executive Director too, Sister Shaza, who's with her daughter. Yes, waving there, mashallah. And I would like to mention that we do have a fundraiser going on, and we have almost reached our goal of 30,000. And so I'll put that in the chat. We also request your dua to keep doing this important work, events like Ramadan Connect and some of the research projects and a lot of other offerings that ISLA provides Islamic schools. So really some amazing work that's being done by a great team of people. So your support, your dua would greatly be appreciated. And I'll put that link there. If you are able to make a donation, we would certainly appreciate that. So without further ado, I would like to pass it over to our presenter, Dr. Fawzia, to take us through this adventure today of storytelling and story writing, inshallah. So over to you, Sister Fawzia.
Jazakallah khair. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm really happy to be here with all of you, and I am going to actually share my screen. Yahya, do I have control there?
Yes, just one moment. I'm going to stop presenting, and then now you can present your screen. Yes, you should be able to now.
Okay. Okay, so a window, there we go. Share, view, reading. Okay, Bismillah. Can everyone see the screen? You should see Ramadan story time.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
Okay, and so wonderful. Thank you, children.
Yes.
So it's 11:16 in the night here. So I'm going to apologize if I somehow slip up, because I might be slightly tired, and I apologize for that. So we're going to start off with Fatiha, and I think Brother Yahya, who is our lovely child who's going to do the Fatiha for us?
Yes, we have, if he's still with us, Muhammad Al-Thanayan.
Yes, yes.
Go ahead, my love.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
So, and Brother Yahya, would it be possible for one of our children to also do Surah Qadr, just so that we can get extra blessings? We don't know if the angels are here tonight. I mean, they're here all the time, a lot of them, but for just in case, Laylatul Qadr, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah. I see we have the first one to raise their hand was Zakaria. Zakaria, would you like to read Surah Al-Qadr?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, both of you.
I have a question.
Yes, dear?
Never mind.
Okay, so I actually wrote down what I was going to say in case I trip over my words. So, Ramadan Mubarak, Jazakallah khairan for, oh, I'm sorry, for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here with you today, alhamdulillah, and inshallah our fasts and deeds are accepted, ameen. And inshallah with this gathering, I hope we can get blessings because we are here for the pleasure of Allah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so children, when you see this sign here, or brothers and sisters, you can win an ebook. So the idea is that you quickly type in to the chat your answer, and then Brother Yahya will select a winner, inshallah. So the first thing I'd like you to do in the chat is, could you please type the name of a children's storybook character? And you only have 15 seconds to do that.
The chat isn't available. The chat isn't available to me.
Okay, the chat is now open. Okay,
Okay.
so we can start now. Yep.
I don't know how to do the chat.
Oh, well, you can just say your character.
Okay, the chat is on the side. You have to click that at the top, or sorry, it's at the top next to the little person. There's a little bubble, like a WhatsApp logo, if you know that. So it's up at the top there.
Your 15 seconds are almost up.
I have a question.
Yes, dear. What's your question?
Are we supposed to write it from any story or from this story?
No, so the idea is, I usually do this when I do this presentation. I ask teachers and students or student teachers to write down the name of a storybook character. And it's the first one that comes to your mind. And you just write down the name of that character.
Okay.
Lovely. So, Brother Yahya, do we have some characters there?
Yes, we have some people. Okay, our first one to submit was Idris, who put Matilda. So we have Matilda, we have Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Elsa, Simba, Frog and Toad, Husna, Goldilocks, Snow White, Sonic, Ahmed, Belle, Winnie the Pooh, Garfield, Noor, Simba, Kai, Curious George, Noob, Little Red, Baba Ali, SpongeBob, Simba, and on. But the first one was Idris. Yes, the first one to submit was Idris Mullock.
Okay, so actually but the ebook goes to the first character that is not from a Western collection of books, from a Middle Eastern. So I think the first one was, which one do you have there? Okay,
we had Husna. Is that one? Okay. That's from Mariam?
Yes.
Husna.
Okay, so Mariam wins the ebook. And
okay, I'm going to write
if you just make a note of Mariam, excellent. Okay, so now we will continue, inshallah. Okay, so the main purpose of our workshop today is for me to read stories to you and for you to, inshallah, for you to get inspired to write your own. So there's some, it's very important for me that students are critical observers and critical thinkers. So questioning things, question things that you see, ask, why are these things the way they are? Why are things that way? So before we begin, a a few of my teacher's stories. I'd like to share those so you understand a little bit about me as a writer and an educator, inshallah. So I was doing a lesson on speech marks, and this is some years ago. And I asked my students to please draw a picture of yourself or your mom or your dad. Now, the issue was that my students didn't have very strong English at all because it was a new language that they're learning. There was one child who understood English quite well, and she would translate to the others. So they had to draw a picture of themselves, and then we were going to use macaroni as speech marks. So they drew their pictures and then cut them out. And the next morning, very early, I came to school and I put them on the bulletin board. And then I took a step back because I saw something that I'd never, ever seen before. And I thought, wow, subhanallah, how strange. So they were pictures like this. So if you look at my students, they have beautiful ebony black hair, but when they drew the pictures, they drew brown, yellow, red, orange hair. So when my children came, I said to them, I love your pictures, but who did you draw? And they all said at the same time, American girls, which again, that was very strange because in England and America and Canada, where I taught, I'd never seen this before. So I asked a professor from a nearby university here what he thought about that. And he said, the children are not seeing themselves in books. They are invisible. So that was one idea that he had about this. Now my girls could have said, oh, well, that's me, teacher. I just dyed my hair, because we do dye our hair here. And but that's not what they said. So that was interesting. So this is a picture I took from a mall. A store was opening about clothes. And you see here where I said, question things that you see. Ask, why are things that way? So I looked at that because the children here don't actually dress that way. So I wondered if we had children who looked like my students or dressed like my students on the billboard, how would that be? How would it be if they actually saw themselves on billboards? So positive self-visibility is very important for children's self-esteem. You have to see yourselves. You have to see yourselves in positive roles. Something else that I do with my students is I ask them to draw a picture of a house. And the reason why I do that is because I find it very interesting that the children here, most of them, 95%, will draw a house with a roof like this, a V-shaped roof, and like a triangular roof, and a chimney and smoke. Like this house here. This is actually the house that I was born in. It's in England. It has a chimney here and 2 chimneys there. And it rains a lot, which is why we have a triangular roof so that the rain falls down. So you see, the children here were in a desert region, and I take my children to a very, very large picture window, and I ask them, what is the shape of the buildings here? And they always say oblong, rectangle, square. They are correct. So then I asked them, well, why did you put a triangle roof and a chimney? Because there are no chimneys and there are no triangular roofs. So my students get very puzzled because they wonder that too. And the idea is these are the houses that they're probably seeing in picture books. There are some children who draw houses that are that reflect their houses, but they're very few. So again, children are very influenced by the things that they read and see. One more story. So I was at a dentist and I was talking about visibility. The computer had broken down and the dentist was sitting and I was sitting, and I thought I would just talk to her about this interesting thing that I like about children's literature. So anyway, the dentist said she has 2 children, one in grade 4 and one in grade 9. And she said, they wanted to buy a dog. Now, she wasn't very excited about it. She's from India. And she said, my children came up with these names like Bruno, Ginger, and Max for the dog. And she says her husband, who's a doctor, suggested names like Moti, Bablu, and Laddu. Now, these are common Indian pet names. And she said her two children started laughing. They ridiculed the names, and they said, these are not names for a dog. So that was very interesting because the dentist, she's Indian, she loves her country, and she felt rather sad that her children were laughing at these names, which are typical Indian names. So sociologists have a term for this. When children ridicule their own culture, it's called internalized oppression. These are rather hard words, but when you grow up, you might learn a little bit more about them. So how many stories did the dentist's children read or listen to that had dogs with Indian names? Well, obviously none, because if they had come across books with stories about a dog called Moti, they wouldn't think that that's an unusual, funny, or a silly name. They would just accept that as an Indian name. Win an ebook. Okay, children, you have another opportunity to win a book. So here's the question. So this book, I'm sorry it's a bit fadey here. It's written by Deborah Chancellor. It's published by Dorling Kindersley. It's for young children. It's called Holidays Around the World, Celebration Days. And it's got all the holidays like Christmas, Hanukkah. It's even got obscure holidays like Hinamatsuri, which is a Chinese doll holiday. And it's got words like roses, pumpkins. It's got lettuce. But the second largest celebration in the world is missing. Children, can you tell me on the chat what holiday is missing? And then Brother Yahya, if you let me know that got done.
I'm totally gonna lose. I am a slow typer.
Oh, well, just quickly write the beginning of the word.
I already rated it.
Okay, well, that's good. You're trying. That's wonderful.
Okay, so we have, let's see, we have Ramadan is our first answer, and we have Eid.
Yes.
The rest have written Eid.
Great. Okay, and that's fine. So can we give a prize? We will give a prize to the first two for Ramadan and for Eid.
Ramadan and Eid.
Or,
Okay, so
yeah, or you can just randomly, however you want to choose
I wrote
them.
Eid first, but then
sure.
it auto-corrected it.
Okay, so we have.
Word.
Okay,
I
great. So we have
wrote
Mariam. Mariam was the first one to write in with Ramadan, and Rodaina with Eid. So those can both be our two winners for this question. Mariam and I think it's Rodaina. Hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Excellent.
Can we do another one so I have a chance?
Okay, so, well, yes, inshallah. But children, I am going to give you all an Eid book or a Ramadan book at the end, all of you. So those who win an ebook, you'll just get extra, but please don't feel bad. You will take away a story, one story at least, if not more. Okay, so children, when I showed this to my students and they saw that everybody is mentioned on here, but nothing about Muslims, what does that do to them? How do they feel? Because they're not visible. Lettuce is visible, but they're not visible. So this is another reason why it's so important for you to write stories and books about Islam or Muslim holidays. It's very important to be visible. When children cannot find themselves reflected in the books they read, they learn a powerful lesson about how they are devalued in the society of which they are a part. And that's something that Bishop said in 1990. So for most of my life, I've worked as an elementary school teacher, and every teacher knows that children must feel positive, confident, and empowered. So Brother Yahya made a point about cluster librarian. Just one moment, please. I beg your pardon. A cluster librarian, that's actually what I work as. I've worked as a teacher and a principal throughout my career. At the moment, I work as a cluster lead librarian, and what that means is that I'm in charge of 4 libraries for 4 different schools. Altogether, we have 6,000 children. What I've noticed is that there are very, very few books that reflect the students in my school who are Muslim and they're Arab. So for me, it's a very important thing that we have books that reflect them. I know this looks like a very long piece. It's really for teachers. So I'm saying this for your parents and your teachers. When children feel a sense of belonging and a sense of pride in their families, their peers and their communities, they can be emotionally strong, self-assured, and be able to deal with challenges and difficulties. This creates an important foundation for their learning and development. And this is from Ireland. So it's really, really important that you see things that are familiar to you. So at the beginning, when I asked you to do this, what I noticed with teachers here and student teachers and children, very few of them will list books with Islamic or Muslim characters or even Arab characters. Usually they will have something like the Lorax, Riding Hood, Horrid Henry, the Gruffalo. So there's nothing wrong with these books. They're amazing, but you have to have a balance. And so this is the important thing. Critical thinking and critical observation. So we have a poll now, and I'm going to let Brother Yahya take over. So basically the question is, do you think that most of the books that you have at home are mirror books or window books? But for you to answer that, you have to know what a mirror book and a window book is. So I actually, Yahya, I'm going to just carry on with mirror books and window books. I've actually got that out of order. Okay, so here we go. Mirror books and window books.
Can I use the bathroom?
Yes, dear, I think that's important. Mirror books. So mirror books are books that have everything that is familiar to the child. When a child looks into a mirror, they see themselves. In the same way, a mirror book reflects the child and her or his environment. So in other words, when you open up a book and it's got someone who looks like your family, your community, the clothes that you wear, the food that you eat, animals that are familiar to you, the buildings around you, your country, your culture, your beliefs, that's a mirror book because it's reflecting you. For here, where I am living at the moment, this would be a mirror book for our children. All of these are mirror books for our children because we're in the desert. We have a gaff tree. The trees look like that, some of them. There's the Burj Khalifa, parents wearing their kandora, the children wearing kandora, an abaya, black abaya. So these are all mirror books for Emirati children who live near Dubai, in Dubai. For Indian children, these would be mirror books for them. So for instance, a sari, roti. Roti is a flatbread. There's an elephant, the type of clothes that they're wearing, the type of food that they're eating. So these are mirror books for Indian children. Now, window books. Window books develop respect and understanding the cultures, places, people, faith, and languages. So basically what window books do is that they allow you to basically travel the world. When you read a window book, you're looking at somebody else's world, a different country, a different place. Now this is an ayah from Quran, Bismillah. O mankind, I created you from a single pair of a male and female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. So that's in chapter 49, verse 13. So window books make the strange familiar. It's very important. In Islam, we see everybody as our brother and sister, the whole world. It's one family. So window books for us, it's a very important thing. You have to have window books as well as mirror books. Mirror books are about you. Window books are about your neighbors from a different part of the world. So, for instance, window books for an Emirati child might be any one of these: Chinese, Russian, French, Indian, British. So I'm going to do a quick review of mirror books and window books. For a Saudi Arabian child, this is an example of a mirror book or a window book. So you should have said.
We have a hand raised up here.
Oh,
Malik
okay.
has
So yes,
Malak.
go ahead.
It's a window book.
Yeah, and you are correct. Okay, I won't go to the next slide until you answer.
Window book.
Excellent, well done. Okay, for a Kenyan child, this is an example of a mirror book or a window book.
A mirror book.
Yeah, it's a mirror book. I'm not good at typing, so is it okay if
But that's
I...
okay. You can just you can call it out, dear. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to be too loud and flirting around.
Well, I appreciate that. For a Russian child, this is an example of a mirror book or window book.
Window book.
Window book.
Window book. Window book.
Window book.
Well done.
Okay, so we can do Sister Fawzia, would you like them to answer in the chat or by a raise of hand?
Well, in the next one, for this one, they have to answer in the chat because there's a prize.
Okay.
For an English child, this is an example of a...
5, 4, 3, 2... the chat isn't even available, so I can't even type.
Okay, so children, if you could just wait a moment here. I've just closed the chat for a minute here and also the mute. We need to remember to be respectful too. When we talk, we can use the raise the hand feature at the bottom. So you can click that if you would like to speak at a time when Dr. Fawzia offers that as an option. So for this one now, I will open up the chat and you can respond to this for the ebook, which is for an English child. This is an example of and I will open the chat now.
Mirror. It's a mirror book. And I said it too.
Okay.
I wrote mirror.
Okay, shall we move
Show
on?
me how to do the chat. I don't know. Can you show me how to do the chat?
Brother Yahya is going to show you how to do the chat.
Yes, I will just tell you the chat at the top of your screen. If you look at the top of your screen, you'll see a picture of a person first with a circle as a head, and next to it there'll be a square that represents the chat. It has 3 lines. So if you click there, if this is new for you, you'll see that it opens up a chat, and there you can type your answer. For this last question, let's see, we had, I think, our first person that did not win yet, it was Idris had put a window.
And that would be correct. This is a window book. Oh, no. Sorry. For an English child, this is a mirror book because that's Big Ben, yes, and London. That's the clue.
Okay, so this winner would be Idris.
So it's a mirror book for me, right?
Yes, it's a mirror book, dear.
But didn't
lovely.
already win?
Well, we'll figure that out.
No.
Yes.
Okay, children.
I don't think I did.
No.
The answer was, Sister Fawzia, was a mirror book or a window book?
It was mirror book.
Your book.
Mirror
Okay,
book.
so our winner here then was Bigad, I think. I will write down the name, Abdul Salam. So I will write our third winner down here, Bigad.
Can I?
Okay, so
Wait, I wanted to say something. You see, my name is a little bit different. It says Maloud, but my name is Omar. So can you just acknowledge that? Because when I type it in, I don't want you calling me Maloud.
that's lovely.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me know. Thank you, Omar. Okay, so children, we'll move now on to what is your approach to writing? Do you do a lot of planning or very little planning? Are you a plotter or a pantster? So let's just take a look at these words. So a pantser does not really plan out very much in their story. The story takes shape page by page. So if you're a pantser, you're not really thinking about very much detail and writing it down. You're literally just typing away or just writing away, and the things just evolve as you go along. A plotter, on the other hand, plans a story from start to finish. The plotter crafts the characters, creates a story map. They know the beginning, the middle, and the end. They plan everything. Now, I know with teachers, when your teachers are doing story with you, they always make you do a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's fine, because really, to be honest with you, even a pantser has to do some planning. But just so that you know, a plotter has to know everything about what they are writing. They have to write all the different details down. Whereas a pantser will just pick up a pencil or just start typing on the laptop or their desktop, and the story just starts taking shape. So some of the things that I write about are children's fairy tales. And the reason for that is because when I was a little girl, my mom and dad used to take me to the library, and I used to read all the library books about everything about fairy tales. I would take tons of them home. But when I grew up a little bit, I noticed when I started learning about Islam that there was a problem with the fairy tales. The things in them weren't quite right. So, for instance, Cinderella was dancing with a prince, and I don't think that went down very well. And so what I did when I started working in an Islamic school, because in England at the time we had to study, our children had to study as part of the national curriculum fairy tales. So I thought it would be a nice idea if I could give visibility to our children with the same stories, but they are more accepting that the main character is behaving Islamically and being a mirror to our Muslim children. So I did Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty, and I just recently did Rapunzel. So if you love to write fairy tales, the way I do that is whenever I want to write a story, I go to the library and I get all the books that I can about that particular story. So for instance, Little Red Riding Hood, there's all these different stories. For when I did Cinderella, I read a whole bunch of stories, and then it gave me an idea of how I wanted to do mine. So those of you who are pantsers just need ideas, which will then evolve as you write. And those of you who are plotters, you will need to write details about the characters, setting, problem, and solution. So if you're a plotter, you might, you're going to choose what your character is. And it could be a bird, an animal, it could be an insect. It doesn't necessarily have to be human. And then your setting, you're going to try and figure out where do you want the setting to be. And then the problem. So at the moment, we're looking at Ramadan stories. And you could pick anything to do with any of these things that we do in Ramadan. We could actually, I didn't put Laylatul Qadr in there, did I? And that needs to be in there. And you could maybe do a story, a problem, maybe with Laylatul Qadr. Somebody is trying to search for it. It could be a story in that way. And then some kind of solution. One of the stories that I wrote was Little Red Kufi. Now, if you are a plotter, then you could probably take the story of Little Red Riding Hood, the story map, and then you put in the changes that you're going to have. So Little Red Riding Hood now became Little Red Kufi. The big bad wolf was the big bad camel. And rather than going to grandma's cottage, Little Red Kufi goes to the masjid. And there isn't a woodcutter, there's actually an imam. And he's taking a basket of dates for the people who are fasting to the masjid. So that's a little bit how you can change a story to have an Islamic kind of idea to it. So I'm going to start my first story with you. Are you ready? I hope so. Bismillah.
Sister Fawzia, did you want to do any of the polls, or should we save those for later?
Oh, yes. No, let's do the poll. I'm so sorry. Yeah, great idea. Now that you know what a mirror book and a window book is, let's do that.
Okay, so I'm going to open up the first poll. And
so I'm just going to go back to that.
Okay, so for those that are new to Google Meet, what you can do now is go at the top of your screen and you'll see the triangle, square, and circle. It's the activities button. So if you click that, you'll see a poll is now active. And on it, you can select. You can choose the question, do you think most of the books you have at home are mirror books or window books? And you can select mirror books or window books. So I see some votes coming in.
Wait, I have a question. You see, most of my books are window books. They're most about Arabic and my mom. And I have a question. My mom's from Egypt. My dad's from Somalia, and I am from America. So I don't know which one to pick. We have most of our books are about our Ramadan books, Arabic books, Somali books, things like that. So
well, just make a judgment if you think you've got a lot of.
I'm gonna go mirror. Is it more of a question than a vote? Is it like a question, like
you're just going to vote?
Is it a question like of who's right or wrong?
No, it's just showing which books, just so that you are critically aware. You're thinking about what type of books you've got.
It used to be there used to be only 9 people who have mirror books, like books about. I think that I'm on the wrong side because I have Arabic books, which are mirror books for me, but for most people, it's a mirror book or a window book.
That's right. You're going to be different in what is a mirror book and a window book too.
So I have to pick a different one, even though, it's complicated.
But you're a bit of a hybrid as well, where you've got your mix of different cultures. So a Somali book would be a mirror book. African. It just it's just to get you thinking about what type of books you have around you. Just a very interesting fact. I'm just going to go back here to the start of the story. An interesting fact, in Canada, it's actually just Ontario, they spent 80 million, I think it was I want to say 8 million, but I think it was $80 million in additional funding for Canadian children's books, just for elementary school children. And I was very surprised when I saw that. And I wondered why they wanted to spend so much money. And these books were to purchase Canadian children's books that had Canadian setting, Canadian characters, Canadian values. And I thought that's really interesting that they're spending so much money on mirror books for their children. So in the same way, I thought it's just as important for, for Muslim children to have mirror books as well. So I'm going to start this story. Brother Yahya, do you want to say what the poll shows?
Yes, so we had 27 votes, 10 votes for mirror books and 17 votes for window books.
And it's actually the same over here as well. My students would probably tell you the same thing, that most of their books are window books. And that raises a question actually about publishers and who is able to sell their books on the market and accessibility. So that's very interesting. Thank you, children. So we'll move on now.
Sister Fawzia, should we save the second poll for later? I also have the one about approach to writing. Platter and answer.
Yes, let's do that.
Should we do that one next, now that everyone knows how to do the polls? Okay, so I'm going to end this poll, and I'm going to open up one more poll, which is, what is your approach to writing? So if you look at the top again, you click on that same button, you should see the next live poll, which is, what is your approach to writing? Are you a plotter? I do a lot of planning, or a pantser? I do a little planning. So we'll take a minute here for the votes to come in.
One to pick
Okay, excuse me, is this Mohammed? If we could just keep ourselves on mute for this time, just so we can all focus on the poll. And then if Dr. Fawzia asks for questions, you can use that raise hand button, okay? So we'll just take another 30 seconds here for the votes to come in. I see most of them have come in here. We have 20 votes now, and everyone should be able to see the results too. I've shared it.
Okay, also, sorry about that. Also,
oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, thank you.
I'd like people to acknowledge my name is Omar.
Is it Omar? Okay, sorry, Omar. Yes, Omar. Thank you, Omar. I'll remember that now. Okay, so we have our votes in. We have 15 votes for plotter. I do a lot of planning, and 10 votes for pantser. I do a little planning.
That's very interesting. So, shall I tell you what I am, children? I am actually a pantser. I very, very rarely plan my stories. I don't know how they're going to end. I don't know what type of characters are going to be in there. And I find writing like that to be easier than to plan. So that's good that we've got a mix. And I see that most of us like to plan, which is excellent. So I'm going to start off with this first Ramadan story. It's called The Ramadan Drummer, and it's illustrated by Anita Dewey. We're going to start with this verse that the Ramadan Drummer tells us. O you who believe, Bismillah. Well, darling, I think it's going to be an hour and a half almost. But if you need to go, sweetheart, you can, because I understand it's difficult to sit for quite a long time. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may learn piety and righteousness. And that's in Surah Baqarah 183. Pay attention to that, children, because there is a prize. Abu Dabdab, the Ramadan drummer, was very happy. Tomorrow would be the first day of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, said Abu Dabdab. It was dark when the Ramadan drummer walked outside to wake the people for sahur. And there he is with a cat. Abu Dabdab began to beat his drum and sing his song. Dum dum, bada dum dum, time for sahur, time to eat, time to get up from your sleep. Dum dum, bada dum dum. Moms and dads woke up. Boys and girls woke up. Everyone woke up. They all look very, very happy, don't they? Thank you for waking us up, Abu Dabdab, they said. And they gave Abu Dabdab some food for sahur. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you, said the Ramadan drummer. Everyone was happy. Everyone got up for sahur. Everyone ate their food and drank their water. Now remember, children, it's very important that you drink so you don't dehydrate. But one day, a rich man came to live in the town. When Abu Dabdab played his drum, the rich man was angry. I want to sleep, he said. He watched Abu Dabdab from his window. I will stop the Ramadan drummer, said the rich man. Here is a bag of gold, said the rich man. Give me your drum. Abu Dabdab looked at the gold and said, Thank you. I will buy another drum with the gold. That's a good idea. No, 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 said the rich man. If you take the gold, you cannot be a Ramadan drummer. But I like my Ramadan drum, said Abu Dabdab. Yes, but you are poor, said the rich man. Take the gold so you can be rich. So Abu Dabdab took the gold. The rich man threw the Ramadan drum in his burn pile. Shame. Early in the morning at sahur, Abu Dabdab did not play his drum, so the people did not get up for suhoor. When the people woke up, the sun was in the sky. Subhanallah, they said. What happened to the Ramadan drummer? I did not eat, said a man. I did not eat, said a girl. We did not eat, said everyone. Everyone was hungry and everyone was sad. Shame, she's crying right there in the corner. Only the rich man was happy. Good, he said. Now I can sleep. My goodness. Abu Dabdab was very sad too. He missed playing his drum. Abu Dabdab looked at the gold and said, I do not need the gold. I need my Ramadan drum. Oh, he looks so miserable, doesn't he? So Abu Dabdab took the gold to the rich man and got back his Ramadan drum. Alhamdulillah. Early in the morning, when it was still dark, Abu Dabdab took out his drum and walked up and down the streets, waking people up for suhoor. Dum dum, bada dum dum, time for suhoor, time to eat, time to get up from your sleep. Dum dum, bada dum dum, sang Abu Dabdab. When the rich man heard the Ramadan drummer, he was very angry. I will not stay here anymore, he said. Everyone was happy when they heard Abu Dabdab's Ramadan drum. Everyone got up for suhoor. Thank you, Abu Dabdab. Jazakallah khairan, they said. Barakallah fikum, said the Ramadan drummer. So children, I hope you enjoyed that story. That's our first Ramadan story. And there's win an ebook right there. So Brother Yahya is ready now to take your answers. What surah and verse did the Ramadan drummer tell us? Can you remember?
183.
You have to type it.
Aww. Yeah, I just need to say it because I'm really bad at typing. But does it count since I said it?
That's something we're going to work on then. That's good that you've identified that. That's lovely. So your next step, my love, is going to be to become a better typer. And I can totally understand where you're coming from because I used to be super slow too. But you will get better, inshallah.
Can I please count as winning?
Okay.
Sorry, Dan, you faded out.
So we have, I'm going to choose the third person here because the first two that answered were already winners, mashallah, I think. Or wait, we have is this a new winner here? Mariam, I think. Yes, she was already a winner. So our third one to answer was X-Boy, but I don't know who that is. So X-Boy.
Oh, wait, this is Ibrahim. Wait, who is X-Boy? Wait.
That's you. You're talking. So X-Boy, can you let me know your name?
My name is Ibrahim. For some reason it's putting X-Boy. That's the name of my actual account.
Okay, so your name is what? Ibrahim what?
Ibrahim Sohail.
Sohail. Okay, so you are the winner for this question, Ibrahim. Thank you everyone for answering. We had a lot of correct answers here, mashallah.
Lovely. Okay, so our next story is... Yes, dear?
Are we going to do any writing, or are we only going to be listening to beautiful stories?
Okay, so the idea, sweetheart, is that if I read you the stories, and then after this story, I think that's when we take a break, and then you write your own stories.
Okay.
Is that okay? They're very short, dear. Okay,
yeah,
so Tina, you're welcome. So Tina, a Ramadan story is actually, it's linked to bullying, but it's also a Ramadan story. It's illustrated by Hidayatul Azmi. It's very short. Tina didn't have many friends. In fact, Tina didn't have any friends. That's because Tina always pushed. You can see all the children now that she pushed. Tina pushed in line. Uh-oh. Tina pushed on the carpet. That's terrible. Tina pushed in the bus. Subhanallah. Tina pushed at lunchtime. Astaghfirullah. Tina pushed out the zoo. Subhanallah. Tina even pushed at the Burj Khalifa. In fact, wherever Tina went, Tina pushed. Today was the first day of Ramadan. A new girl came to school. Her name was Zainab. Oh, Zainab loved Allah. Zainab always said, I love you, Allah. Tina saw Zainab and said, move or I will push you. Zainab didn't say anything. Tina tried to push Zainab. Suddenly, Tina fell down. Tina tried to hit Zainab. Astaghfirullah. Suddenly, Tina fell down again. Tina, it's Ramadan, said Zainab. If you love Allah, then do the right thing. Please stop pushing. Please be kind. And that's a very good message for Ramadan, isn't it? For always. So Tina thought about it and thought about it and thought about it a little more. Tina loved Allah, so she stopped pushing people, and guess what happened? Everyone became friends with Tina. We love you, Tina, they said. So there she is with friends now, because it's horrible to push someone. That's being a bully, and it needs to stop right away. Okay, so I've got a little note here. We can continue with another story, inshallah, or you can begin to write your own and then come back and share them, inshallah. So, Brother Yahya, do you think it's wise if we have the children to write their stories now?
Yes, I think what I like to do usually in my class, after 1 hour, is we do just a little stretch, a little Ramadan stretch, because we've been sitting for an hour now. And if anyone maybe needs to go to the restroom, we can take a 2-minute break or a 3-minute break just to stretch. And if you've already finished your fasting, you can grab a drink of water here, depending where you are in the world. And then maybe we can start. How about we take a 5-minute break? So we'll come back in 5 minutes, and then we can start the writing. So if you need to go to the bathroom, get a drink, or just take a little rest, and then we can come back and start the writing. Does that sound good?
I have a question.
Yeah, but I have a question.
Should we do the
just
questions
wait on
when
the
you come
questions,
back?
please. Omar, if you could just wait for a minute here. So I'm going to just put here the mute on, and if anyone needs to go now, you can. We're going to start in 5 minutes, and then I'll let you ask your question, okay? But please use the raise your hand feature, okay? So now I see, Omar, you've raised your hand, and the rest of you, you can take your break and come back now in 4 minutes, inshallah.
Yeah, it's not a question for the whole class. It's just...
I'll be back in 4.
Okay, great.
To talk to you. I had a question for her. I had a question of, did it count as winning the ebook? Because I said it first.
Yes, Omar, I know that you said it correctly, mashallah, but the instruction was to write in the chat. So remember that there'll be another chance, and also everyone is going to get an ebook, okay?
Yeah, but I want to get 2. I want to be able to say I won one.
Yes, well, inshallah, you'll have another chance. Okay.
Yeah, but look what I did. This is much more fun.
MashaAllah. Okay, so we're going to take a little break now, everyone. If you can keep yourself on mute, you can take a little break. We'll come back now in 3 minutes, okay? So I'm also going to take a little break, and I'll be right back, and then we're going to start the writing, inshallah. So do a little stretch, move around a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, we'll see you shortly, inshallah. Okay, everyone, you can start to come back now if you finished your stretch and you finished your break, and we can get ready to put our writing caps on here. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
I have a question.
Okay, I see, Sister Fawzia, we have a few questions here. Do we want to take the questions now, or should we save them for after the writing?
I'm going to leave that up to you. Either way, I'm okay with that. You can decide.
Okay, so we have a limited amount of time, so I think what we'll do is we'll save them unless it's something urgent, because we're already at 10 after the hour, and our scheduled time was until in Saudi until 11:30. We can maybe extend a little bit if you're able, Sister Fawzia, and I know some people may have to leave, so we can get into the writing and we'll save the questions until the end. If it is something urgent, then you can keep your hand up. So I see we still have one hand up, so let's take that. If it's something related to what we're going to do, if it's just a question in general, we can save, okay? Or if it's a comment.
There are 3 hands up, not one.
Yes, I see some of them went down now. So I see most of them went down, which tells me it's not something urgent. So we can save those till the end, and I'm able to stay a little late too if there are questions and comments. But for now, I think it's best if we get into the writing. So Dr. Fawzia, back over to you.
Bye.
Okay, so
wait, I have something.
So children, what I would like you to do is to actually, I'm just going to put this slide back up here for you, just to assist those of you who are plotters. So those of you who are pantsers, you can just start writing your story about something to do with Ramadan, and you can springboard from the Ramadan Drummer, make your own version of that, or even retell that story. And you can also do that with Tina. You can change that. Maybe it's a boy. Maybe there's some other thing that he does. And you can set it within the month of Ramadan. And those of you who are plotters, I put this up here so that you can create a character. So the first thing that you would probably do is just choose what goes into these headings, the character, the setting, what your problem is, and what a possible solution might be. So I put these up here to give you a little bit of an idea, and I'm just going to let you decide how you want to lead your story. So you have time now to create your stories, and then what we'll do is we'll meet back in the amount of time that Brother Yahya decides, and then you can share your stories with us. Even if you didn't finish your story, you can just start, you can share a little bit, maybe the beginning of it, or just talk a little bit about it, but you're going to have to limit it to a minute or so, or a few seconds. Would that work, Brother Yahya?
Okay, yes, that sounds great. So maybe we can take 10 minutes to start on the story. Do you think that's enough time, Sister Fawzia, or do we need a little more?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
No, 10 minutes is fine. Why? Because,
yeah. Complete good book.
Well, you don't have to. This is what I mean, is that some of you will take more time. Some of you will take a day, but at least you will start thinking about that. So even if you are a pantser, you might just need time to think about, you know, how you want to develop your story, just in your mind. But you can start with your sentence with the beginning, and then you can probably share that. Or maybe you're going to start with the setting, or maybe backwards from the solution. So however you want to do it, you'll share that with us in about 10 minutes. And later on, when you get time, you can complete your story. And actually, it would be a lovely thing if you could share that when you finished. And maybe there might be some way that we can collect all of your stories and put them together, inshallah.
Yes, indeed there is. We already have a Padlet for those on Ramadan Connect. So that's a place that the students can share, and then we can pass them on to Dr. Fawzia. So I'll put 10 minutes on the stop clock here. And now you can go to work. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I will open up the chat again so that way we can answer the questions. In fact, I'm going to turn on one of the other features, which is question and answer. Okay, so this will be a way for you to ask questions. If you click again on those triangle, square, and circle, you can ask a question, and then I'll be able to pass it on to Dr. Fawzia. Okay, so you can now begin your story writing, inshallah. Oh, okay. Dr. Fawzia, we have a question here from Gabriel. He asks, what do I write my story on? Because I'm thinking of writing it on Google Docs.
Well, it's really up to you. Some people can write on paper, some can write on a Word document on their laptop or their computer. It doesn't matter, because when you share it with us, you're just going to read it. So that's fine. And afterwards, you can put it in a format where you can share it on the Padlet. Does that answer your question, dear? Yes? Thumbs up? I'm not sure who answered.
Okay,
who asked the question.
that was Gabriel.
Gabrielle, does that answer your question, dear?
Okay, he might not have his audio on, but I've just marked it in the question and answer. So, Gabriel, if your audio is not working, you can also respond in the chat too.
Thank you.
I'm done writing the short story.
Oops.
Okay, I see we have another question from Malak. When are we going to share our stories?
You can decide, brother, if they're ready, we can start now, and that way we'll have time to go through them. How about that? And some of the children can still continue.
Yes, sure. That sounds good. And then if you didn't finish, you'll be able to share them on the Padlet, and I'll share that link at the end here. And then we can maybe stay another 10 minutes or so if others would like to share. I did get a couple message here that some people already finished a short story. So perhaps we can then do some sharing while the rest finish up their story.
That's lovely.
Okay, so I am going to check the chat here and see. How would you like to go about it, Sister Fawzia?
I'm actually going to let you decide who you pick for sharing. I'm quite happy with that. And while you're doing that, I am listening, but I'm also sending you the Ramadan gift books that we're going to give to the children.
Okay, great, excellent. And we'll do one more spin the wheel at the end too, and we can give out maybe 3 other winners in addition to those that answered. So I'll just check the chat here. I see the first one that said they finished. You can write your name if you're done. I see we have some almost done, which is great. The first one that said they were done, that can share their story, is Malak. So Malak, if you would like to unmute yourself and share your story, you can do so now.
Okay, so it's called Ramadan Moon. Mom, Mom, shouted Ali. Look at the Ramadan moon. MashaAllah, said his mom. Tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan. Can we go pray Taraweeh in the mosques? In the mosque today, please? He asked his mom. Yes, of course, we will. Inshallah, she replied. They went to the mosque and they prayed Taraweeh. Then, after they finished, they came back home. Then they ate sahur. Before they ate sahur, Ali asked his mom, what are we going to be eating today for sahur? He asked his mom. Pasta and some watermelon, with some water, of course. She replied. Then they ate and they fasted.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
MashaAllah. Okay, thank you, Malak. Beautiful story. Maybe you can add some illustrations later when you put it on the Padlet. Okay, our next person who finished here, and you can put if you finished either in the chat or in the question answer, is Hiba. Okay, Hiba, would you like to share your story? You can unmute yourself if you would like to read it for us.
Yeah, I'd like to share it.
Okay.
So, it is Ramadan. I am so happy. It's the month of mercy. I will fast the whole Ramadan. Fasting is hard for me and it's hard for me to wake up for suhoor. I can't wait for iftar. I'm so hungry. My mom makes anything I want because I deserve it. I can't wait for Eid. It's the best day ever.
Okay, but that's lovely, mashallah. I love that. Excellent. Thank you.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Okay, I'm going to see who's next here. We have Zakaria, I think, is ready to share his story.
Me?
Yes, you can unmute.
Okay. Bob and the month of Ramadan. Once there was a town called Islam Town. All of the people in Islam Town were Muslims except for a man named Bob. He lived in a house near the masjid. Each time the adhan was recited after the prayer, he would yell at the muaddin. One day, in the holy month of Ramadan, again, after the prayer, he yelled at the muaddin again. Bob had had enough. He yelled at the muaddin insulting words. The next day, the muaddin did not come. Where did the muaddin go? The people asked. Finally, the muaddin's sister came and told that the muaddin was too sad to say the adhan. So they sent in another man to say the adhan. The man's voice was beautiful. Bob suddenly felt bad. He immediately apologized to the old muaddin and became a Muslim. The end.
Wow, mashallah. That is an amazing story. That is a book. Definitely. It's beautiful. Well done, Zakaria. Jazakallah khair. I love that. All of you are writing lovely things. Thank you, Zakaria. That caught my attention. That's lovely. Great story.
Okay, mashallah. Yeah, we have some real writers here.
Mashallah.
Mashallah. Next we have, I think it's, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Please correct me. Is it Lido or Lado? You can unmute.
It's Lido.
Lido. Okay, Lido, would you like to share your story?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And my name is Zahra.
Zahra. Okay, Zahra. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Let's do
Zahra.
it from the beginning. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Zainab who lived in USA. She loved Ramadan. She always fasts and always prays Taraweeh with her family. She loves to help her mom with the chores, so she can earn lots of hasanats from Allah.
That's beautiful. Mashallah. Lovely. Thank you, Zahra.
Mashallah.
Beautiful.
Okay, great. Next we have, I think I see a name that came up as Actually, it just disappeared. So if you want to put up your hand again, we'll go next to, is it Amelie or Amelia?
It's Emily.
Ajib. Amelie?
Amali.
Amelie.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to share your story now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Today is Eid. We all are very excited. We can't wait to get gifts, but most importantly, we can't forget to pray. We prayed and enjoyed Eid.
That's lovely, Amali. I really like that. What a lovely beginning. Beautiful.
MashaAllah.
Thank you.
So, and you can expand those ideas as well. And I love how you read that. Thank you, darling.
Okay, so I think we have time for one more now, and then we can close the session, but I'm willing, and maybe Dr. Fawzia can stay a bit to hear some more. The other thing too, those that didn't get to read and either finished or in the process of finishing, you can also record yourself reading on the Padlet in addition to posting. And I think this will be really special too, because you all really have beautiful reading voices too, and that's, I think, part of the fun is reading aloud. So we'll take, and I see, actually we'll do two more because I did see one in the chat earlier. So we have just two left, and then we'll close our session. I see, again, help me with the pronunciation. Is it Rodaina or Rodaina?
Rodaina.
Rodaina. Okay, yeah. Would you like to read your story?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not very down with this story, but okay. Aisha's every day. Aisha loves Allah and cherishes Islam very much. Today is the first day of Ramadan and her first Ramadan fasting with her parents. Although, as much as she loves the delightfully holy month, she could not wait until Eid comes. Eid is Aisha's favorite day of the year, and this Eid comes as a celebration of Aisha fasting as well. On Fridays, Aisha and her family go to the mosque. When they go to the mosque, Aisha learns Quran from her parents, and she teaches it to her little sister Lena. Lena and Aisha love to learn the Quran and pray together. When they are done learning Quran, they go off and play with their friends in the mosque. The last day of Ramadan has come, and they have spent their Ramadan fasting, praying, and reading Quran. Eid has come, and Aisha wakes up ecstatically and full of joy. She jumps down and wakes up the rest of the family. Her and her family play Salat al-Eid, and they go to play outside in the park. They love Eid.
Rodaina, that was lovely. There was so much excitement in that. Thank you for sharing. Jazakallah khair. Beautiful.
Yes, mashallah. So we're just about at the end of our time here. And I know some people did finish and then didn't get a chance to share. And maybe Dr. Fawzia, we can stay for a little bit here and hear those that would like to read at the end.
Inshallah, yes.
And I will also put a link.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, great. Yes, I would love to hear some more too, but I know other people may have plans yet, or it may be late, depending where you are. So I will put in the chat here in a moment the link to the Padlet, which some of you are familiar with. And when you finish your story, either you can take a picture of it, you can write it in Google Docs, you could use an app like Storybird, which I like to use, and then you can record yourself reading it in the Padlet. So I will put that link there now. So you can click on that.
Because, sorry for interrupting, but do you have to? Because my dad is usually not okay, and he might do a lot of research before going on, and I might not be able to do it in time.
That's fine. This is optional. All of this is optional. For those that want to, it's through my school Padlet. So I review and approve everything before it goes up, and it's secure. You can even post anonymous, okay? And you can choose to put your name or not. So I thought, just in closing, it would be nice to end with, of course, the word of Allah. And often we close our sessions with Surah Al-Asr. So I would like to see if one student would like to read Surah Al-Asr by a raise of hands that has not yet participated, that has not yet spoken or read a surah. So I'm going to see here, if you'd like to raise your hands, and I see Hidayah. So Hidayah, would you like to read Surah Al-Asr, or if you have another surah you'd like to read, we can also close with a different surah.
Okay. Yeah, that Surah Asr is good.
Okay, please.
Actually, I don't really want to read it. Can I read it?
Okay, no problem. I'm going to see the other hand up that has not participated yet. Okay, Hiba. I don't think is that the correct name? Is it Hiba Hantash? Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
Sadaqallahu Azim. Okay, Jazakallah khair, everyone. This was a really special evening and afternoon or morning, depending where you were, we give our thanks, our shukran, our jazakallah khair to Dr. Fawzia. And of course, we end by sending blessings and peace upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions and family members. And we pray for a blessed final nights and days of Ramadan. And may we be amongst those that witness Laylat al-Qadr, inshallah. Sister Fawzia, if you'd like to offer any closing words here, please do.
Well, yes, please. Jazakallah khair. Again, I'm really, really grateful to be part of your day, your night here. And my strongest dua is that all of you write something for Allah. And I think you all have some lovely stories there to share. It's really, really important, children. As a librarian, I think I would love to see you as writers and have your books on our bookshelves. So thank you again, Jazakallah khair, for having me part of your day. And I hope this isn't the last time we meet. Brother Yahya has some stories to share with you as prizes. And inshallah, he'll be sending those out to you as well. So again, many, many thanks to parents, teachers, to children. Thank you for staying with us for so long. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak.